So where are we now? Well, according to USAG's website, they have adapted more organization and acts to ensure stronger background checks and steps to prevent child abuse. Whether these are effective or not is up to the listener. Here's some things I've pulled from some PDFs, documents, and statements from USAG. From How to Start a Gymnastics Business, that discusses finances, equipment safety, and of course, child abuse. They say, the best way to prevent child abuse is to help parents by developing the skills and identify the resources they need to understand and meet their child's needs and protect them from harm. They use minimal statistics to back up their resources. Here's one, a common one that anyone could find. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, between 2 and 5% of teachers sexually abuse or harass students. It is reported that a child is sexually abused every 6 seconds. 3 of 4 child victims of violence are female. More than half of the violent crimes committed against children involve victims under the age of 12. In another document I found, it discusses the Preventing Child Abuse Treatment Act to ensure there has been education in the sports for years. Here's what the act entails. Preventing Child Abuse in 1974, the first federal child protection legislation, the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act, was passed to ensure the safety and welfare of children. Today, the Child Abuse Prevention Initiative is an opportunity for committees across the country to keep children safe, providing the support that families need to stay together and raise children and youth to be happy, secure, stable adults. In another part of How to Start a Gymnastics Business, it discusses its improvements in background checks with the Safety Certification Program. This is word for word. The program supposedly provides professional members with a working knowledge of how to conduct gymnastic activities in a safe environment. Also, USAG has a zero tolerance policy on abuse and other inappropriate behavior with an athlete. USA Gymnastics is now requiring background reference check screenings of professional members to support this policy, and in response to inquiries for this service from gym club owners. Background checks are becoming commonplace, with many youth organizations and institutions are now endorsed by the U.S. Olympic Committee. Through the National Center for Safety Initiatives, all professional members will have the endorsement of completing a successful background check for previous criminal behavior, which may be inappropriate for contact with children. Screenings cover criminal background, sex offender registry, and identify verification. USA Gymnastics has worked hard with NCSI to develop a program that is affordable and the fees cover the cost for this service. This is not a profit center for USA Gymnastics. The monies go to and remain with NCSI. This is a major undertaking for USA Gymnastics, but this program is an important part of providing a safe environment for our athletes, which is the responsibility of every member. I also found information on the new Clubs Care Initiative. USA Gymnastics is proud of the new Clubs Care Initiative to bring awareness of child abuse and its prevention to the public. That's all I found on that document. It didn't really specify what the initiative was or how it spreads awareness. They've also recently partnered with another campaign. USA Gymnastics is proud to announce the We Care campaign, an educational program designed specifically for parents and concerned adults that focus on establishing and maintaining a safe gymnastics environment in your club. The We Care campaign is created to help individuals be more aware of the issue of child sexual abuse, and then suggest ways one can turn that awareness into action. The We Care education complement the steps USA Gymnastics already has taken to promote a safe environment for its athletes through policy and guideline change implemented in the last few years. Here's a quick overview of what is currently in place. On a monthly basis, the Clubs Care campaign will deliver information, strategies, templates, toolkits, checklists, actions, steps, posters, etc. directly to gymnastic clubs through a variety of avenues, including email, Technique magazine, and the U.S. Postal Service. Clubs can use these materials to develop or refine policies and procedures geared towards eliminating the opportunity for inappropriate behavior or sexual misconduct to occur. Here's one of the last things that I pulled related to my recent findings on the website. Participant welfare policy provides guidelines on how clubs, coaches, and parents can work together to provide a safe environment, as well as requirements and expectations of USA Gymnastics members. The topics covered in the policy include definitions of abuse used by USA Gymnastics for both physical and sexual abuse, reporting procedures and requirements for suspected abuse, misconduct and grievance procedures, member obligations and recommendations, as well as staff, standards of behavior, and education and communication about the policy to members and the general public. Mandatory criminal background screenings and safety risk management certification for professional members. Background screening is renewed every 2 years. Safety and risk management certification is renewed every 4 years. So my question is, with everything I just discussed, is this still enough? It's hard to say how long some of these campaigns, initiatives, and acts have been established for, because obviously SafeSport has been around for only a couple of years, with limited success. In fact, the only real victory we've had with SafeSport was Maggie Haney, which wasn't related to sexual abuse. Some of these PDFs and links don't provide a date on when they were published or revised, so these things listed are taken with a grain of salt on my end. But USAG needs to increase their background check standards, because obviously it isn't enough. If a gym hires a coach, it is required to have a background check, but these should be more heavily monitored. USAG SafeSport should also be more proactive in its handling of cases, since some to this day have gone years without being resolved. Others have been dismissed because of the lack of understanding of who to report to. Gyms need to be providing education about SafeSport. If it's a reputable gym, they won't be scared to educate athletes on what SafeSport is. But other gyms who share the abuse won't discuss it because they are scared of potential repercussion. And coaches should also be on an interim suspension and not allowed in the gym if they are under investigation. Currently, Parkette's coaches are still allowed to coach, even though most of the gym's top coaches are under investigation. This was hard to watch them recently host an elite meet at their gym, knowing what's gone on behind closed doors. We should not allow coaches to continue teaching if they are under investigation. I can't stress that enough. The bottom line is, children are educated on sexual abuse, but typically it's at an age that it's hard to understand what sexual abuse is. And even if they are educated on it, it's hard to speak up because they are normally minors. The fear of speaking out to higher authority is scary and so common. Michaela Maroney tried and she was silenced, just like many others. Speaking up should be encouraged, not neglected. But unfortunately, it's only become more acceptable because of the athletes like Simone Biles or Maggie Nichols that have continued to push for reforms in the Nassar case, like recently suing the FBI. Coaches need repercussions for their actions, and child abuse claims should be taken more seriously than they currently are. They are being less neglected, but change isn't happening quick enough. I waited as long as I could to discuss this part of my documentary. It was something I wasn't originally going to do because I thought it would just make me frustrated and make me emotionally drained. And it did at times, but I knew that I had to do it because this is one of the biggest problems in not only sports, but in USAG specifically. Increasing education for children in the gym may be helpful, but the big change comes from the organization and not on the parents or children. This organization has allowed many coaches I've discussed to continue to coach without punishment, some even laughing at the sexual comments given to gymnasts. USAG needs to be accountable. USAG SafeSport needs to be accountable. The U.S. Center for SafeSport needs to be accountable. The USOC needs to be accountable. The FBI needs to be accountable, which may or may not happen with the upcoming lawsuit. But the bottom line is, it's not the gymnast's fault. It's not the parents' fault. And to some coaches, like Rachel DeHollanders, I only half blame them because of how different times were. Sexual abuse wasn't discussed, so it wasn't really thought of. Since then, Rachel has stated in her book that the coach she spoke to deeply regrets not reporting this. So again, the blame solely comes on the coaches, the higher-ups, and the organizations that fail to report the abuse. It's not the parents or the athlete's fault. It isn't their fault, and I don't think that change will necessarily come from their end, since they don't have the power to report coaches. What I am is deeply sorry for those who went through this. The parents and the athletes didn't wish this on their children. And although parents have things to work on, I don't think that parents should be held accountable for sexual abuse. This sport has a big problem, and they need to work harder on fixing it. They haven't gotten there, and it's time to act. So where do we stand today? Well, some people have left the organization because of the scandal. Others have left the sport, becoming motivational speakers, fighting to change laws, suing the FBI, and trying to hold them accountable for their actions. SafeSport is also having a lot of problems. There are hundreds of people on the permanently ineligible list, including Larry Nassar. But there is also a lot of people on the restricted list that are currently under investigation. I'd like to discuss that list more. This is a description of the restricted persons from USAG. After this, I'll go through every person who is currently on this list with reasons why they may be on this list. USA Gymnastics publishes a separate list of participants declared permanently ineligible for members by USA Gymnastics or the U.S. Center for SafeSport. The list of suspended and restricted persons. The participants listed below are subject to restrictive measures issued by USA Gymnastics and/or the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Restrictive measures limit a participant's access to athletes. USA Gymnastics Members Club and USA Gymnastics members, up to and including a suspension from any contact. Prior to December 17, 2020, restrictive measures were issued, consistent with preceding USA Gymnastics bylaws. The now obsolete language contained in the bylaws prior to December 17, 2020, is provided at the bottom of the page for reference. Interim measures are now issued consistent with the USA Gymnastics SafeSport investigation and resolution procedures, amended and restated bylaws of USA Gymnastics. An interim measure is not a finding of misconduct under the USA Gymnastics SafeSport policy or the SafeSport Code for the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic movement and should not be interpreted as such. Interim measures are intended to ensure the safety and well-being of gymnastics in the community, to prevent conduct or participation detrimental to the sport or its reputation, prevent escalation of reported SafeSport violation, or limit/monitor the conduct of a participant who is the subject of a SafeSport violation report. An interim measure of restrictive measure issued by the U.S. Center for SafeSport indicates the matter is not under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Federal law prohibits USA Gymnastics from discussing such matters. Matters under the Center's jurisdiction can include any form of misconduct addressed in the USA Gymnastics SafeSport policy and the SafeSport Code for the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic movement, and are not limited to sexual misconduct. A person who violates any restrictive measures may be guilty of an abuse of process to the USA Gymnastics SafeSport policy and the SafeSport Code for the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic movement. Anyone who intentionally assists an individual in violating these measures may also violate the aiding and abetting language of the SafeSport policy and SafeSport Code. USA Gymnastics Members Club must follow membership guidelines regarding persons on this list. These lists do not include minors, expired interim measures, or persons declared ineligible for future participation. Applicants who are ineligible for USA Gymnastics membership for failure to pass a background check are not included on this list. USA Gymnastics does not publish the names of these individuals in accordance with federal privacy law. A finding of sexual misconduct by the U.S. Center for SafeSport will also render an applicant ineligible for USA Gymnastics membership in addition to any sanctions imposed by the center. USA Gymnastics does not publish the names of individuals ineligible for USA Gymnastics membership due to any findings of sexual misconduct unless a sanction is imposed. These lists are not exhaustive and must be consulted for guidance only. They should be considered in addition to other research. The U.S. Center for SafeSport publishes a separate, searchable database for individuals subject to the center's measures related to all Olympic and Paralympic sports. This list that I'm about to read includes everybody who is currently on the list. This list will include a first and last name, the state in which the coach has been residing. Some of them show a duration if they are on the post-resolution. It'll also say the grounds, or if the U.S. Center for SafeSport or USAG has put this on there. And if USAG did, it may show which bylaw they have possibly violated. Under the Actions Taken tab, it'll show if they are suspended from all contact or if there is just no unsupervised contact with minors. Two different things. David Carlson, Minnesota. Duration 3/22/21 to 3/22/24 from the U.S. Center of SafeSport. Suspended from all contact with minors. Not sure why. Paul Daniel, Arizona. 1/21/22 to 7/21/22 by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. I could not find anything specifically on that name, not to be confused with Paul Daniel Bollinger, who was arrested for child porn. This man is to be released from prison within the next year or two and is on the permanently banned list. Richard Fiorentino, Pennsylvania. U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Current owner of Burke's Gymnastics, this coach who was sued by an employee for sexual misconduct while previously a gymnast. She sued him in 2017. There is a settlement according to court documents. Mitchell Gotti, Oklahoma. 12/3/2019 to 12/3/2022, this year. U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Works at SSB Kids of Tulsa Gymnastics. Couldn't find any info on what he did. Maggie Haney. 4/30/2020 to 4/30/2025. Let's cross our fingers. It's gonna be longer and she just will never return. That would make my year. Carly Jensen, Arizona. 4/15/2021 to 4/15/2023 by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. Works at Rebound Gymnastics. Not, again, sure what happened. Victoria Levine, 7/31/2020 to 12/31/2024. Again, she's MG Elite. Hopefully she's banned for life, and this goes on much longer. Christina McLean, New York, 5/27/2020 to 5/27/2023 by USA Gymnastics. Suspended from all contact. Was told she emotionally abused athletes at Chelsea Piers Gymnastics. Funny thing is, a GoFundMe was created for her since she was fired from the gym. They were asking for $40,000. I'll let that sink in with you. Douglas Marin, Wisconsin. 1/28/2021 to 1/28/2023 by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Works at Prairie Kids Club. Not sure what happened. Brandon Sandoval, Texas. 9/20/2021 to 5/27/2022 by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Not sure what happened, but he works at Sandoval Gymnastics. He is not listed as a founder of the gym, so I believe he is a relative. Melinda Small, Rhode Island. 1/15/2018 to 1/15/2028. U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Couldn't figure out on where they coach and why they're on the list, but this is a 10-year ban. Matt Zolich, Georgia, by USAG Gymnastics Bylaw 9.3 to 10.5, suspended from all contact. He is the head coach at Rome Aerials. Again, not sure what he did. Now we're going to go on to the pending resolutions, which is much longer than the post resolutions that I just read off. Pending resolutions. Nicholas Adair, New Jersey, U.S. Center for SafeSport, suspended from all contact. In April of 2022, he was caught and charged with inappropriate pictures of gymnasts. Worked at Paramount Gymnastics. He has his own website and podcast providing gymnastics coaching and tips. Not sure if he still works there or not. David Arnold, Georgia, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport, suspended from all contact. This one is kind of confusing. I don't think it's referring to Canadian Hall of Fame gymnast, so it may be referring to a man as Kenneth Arnold. This person was charged of raping and molesting a gymnast, first charged in 2016 and again in 2021. I don't know if it's David, but the article lists a city in Georgia. I couldn't figure out what gym he was or is in, so I didn't provide it. Casey Blackwell, South Carolina, by U.S. Gymnastics Bylaw 9.3 to 10.5. Suspended from all contact. The gym she worked for, Gym Masters Gym Academy, is permanently closed as of 2021. It sounds like it may have been a family-owned gym, and I'm not sure if she longer coaches or coached somewhere else. Brian Blewett, Kentucky, by U.S. Center for SafeSport, suspended from all contact. Owner of Competitive Edge Gymnastics. Not sure what he did. Tried to figure out how to say this name. I am most likely not going to say it right because there is no pronunciation website that pronounces this word. Levengeny Boganasuk? Yikes. Boganasuk, I think that's it. Bear with me, these names are really hard. Illinois, by U.S. Gymnastics Bylaw 10.5. No unsupervised contact with minors. A relative of his competes and was featured on Flow Gymnastics in 2021. This could be a man that works at Gymkhana, where the relative Sasha, the last name, Sasha Bakkensieck, it's the last name of this person. He was the one, like I said, was featured on Flow Gymnastics. Not sure if this person still works or did work there. Couldn't figure out if this is a female or a male since I googled the name, which doesn't have an origin when I looked online. Dan Brewing, Kansas, USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. Owner of Wichita Gymnastics. He must have been reported within the last 2 years because his wife was featured in a local magazine about her success at Wichita Gymnastics in 2020. Jason Button, Kentucky, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. Team director at Champion Gymnastics, spoke in 2017, sounding like he understood the consequences of sexual assault in proper background checks. So this may be hypocritical if he was found to have been sexually abusing kids. Not sure if that's why he's under investigation, though. Bill Callender, Arizona, U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Former coach at various gyms, including Charter Oak Gymnastics, Wildfire Gymnastics, Kip Gymnastics, and recent head coach at Flagstaff Gymnastics as of 2021. Today, he no longer works at Flagstaff, and the head coach position was given to someone else in the community. He has been in business for over 43 years and helped coach Vanessa Atler and various other NCAA athletes. Not sure if he is coaching today or why he is under investigation. Pablo Capote, Texas, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Former Venezuelan gymnast who used to work at Above the Bar Gymnastics. The most recent post I can find on him was him there in 2015, so I'm not sure if he is still there coaching or if he is somewhere else. The website does not list current coaches at the gym. Jack Carter, Arizona, USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. This person used to work at Parkettes. I've discussed him because he was the coach who unknowingly filmed Sang Lan's vault that resulted in her paralysis. People demanded the tape to be released, and he refused, and to this day still has not leaked it for her privacy and safety. He opened a gym in Arizona 20 years ago with his wife. I'm assuming he is under investigation because the list of coaches' abusive claims from Parkettes over the years that he was there. Pei Zhen P.G. Chai, Washington, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors or participants for Metropolitan Gymnastics. Worked as recent as 2017, receiving awards as a good compulsory coach. LinkedIn states he is a program director, not sure if he has updated this or not. He may still be there, it doesn't list coaches on their website. Chris Garces, Illinois, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. According to LinkedIn, he is the head coach at Rise Up Gymnastics. The website doesn't list coaches working there, so he may or may not be coaching. It doesn't say why he is under investigation. Sean Gardner, Iowa, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. This one really broke my heart, and it made me take another break. One of the top reputable and safe gyms, Chow's, had a head coach, Sean Gardner, for at least the 2020 season. Chow's doesn't list current coaches, so I'm not sure if he's still coaching there, but I can't imagine he still is. Michael Garrow, Wisconsin, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Formerly worked for local school district as a gymnastics coach. Was claimed to have touched gymnasts inappropriately in 2019. He was fired and went to go volunteer at a local gym. Claims came out from the gym that he continued to inappropriately touch gymnasts. Public claims came out that he was speaking with police in 2020. Not sure if he works at a gym or not. Ute Heger, Illinois, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Head trampoline coach at Gymnastics Academy of Rockford. Website only lists coach awards and doesn't list current coaches working there. Not sure if he is still there, but his LinkedIn says he works there. Chauncey Hayden, Oklahoma, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. May have formerly worked at Bart Connors Gymnastics as a men's team coach. Has a long resume with USAG and is currently the head coach at Oklahoma Extreme Tumbling and Trampoline. John Holman, Pennsylvania, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. I recently just spoke about him. Barry Heider, Arkansas, U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact, also previously discussed. Cameron Kodiak Kerfoot, Georgia, by USA Gymnastics Bylaw 10.5. Suspended from all contact, may be working at World of Gymnastics in Cheer. Their website doesn't list current coaches and not sure what he's doing today. Mitchell Kessler, New York, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. As of January 1st, 2022, he is a registered coach at All American Gymnastics. However, the gym is temporarily closed. I have no access to its website since it is temporarily closed, so I'm not sure what he's doing today. Terry Lampo, Tennessee, U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact, owner of Spirit Gymnastics and Cheerleading. The gym is temporarily closed. Not sure why he is under investigation. Jonathan Lee, North Dakota, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. Couldn't find anyone living in North Dakota as a male gymnastics coach, so I don't have much on him. Nicole Lord, Virginia, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. I also couldn't find anything on a coach in Virginia. It's harder to work with names that are so common. Abdul Mameri, Maryland, by USA Gymnastics. A former Algerian national team member who has worked at least 3 different gyms, including Rebounders Gymnastics. He coached Donald Wittenberg, who was on the 2021 World Champion team. I don't know where he works now. I looked at Rebound, and they don't list current coaches on the website. Ron Manera, California, by USA Gymnastics Bylaw 9.3 to 10.5. Suspended from all contact. He was a former UC Davis assistant women's gymnastics coach and member of the university's physical education facility. He has been on this roster since 2018. I don't know what gym he came from. Tammy Marshall, New York, by Gymnastics Bylaw 10.5. No unsupervised contact with minors. Owner of Infinity Elite Gymnastics. Not sure what happened, but GK recently spoke highly of them. Richard and Russell Mast, Kansas, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Brothers Richard and Russell Mast have owned a gym called Funtastics USA of Derby for over 37 years. They closed it in 2021 and moved to Wichita. They claim to have opened a new gym, though I couldn't figure out which one it was. The former gym has a 1.5-star review. One review has claims that both men had raped a 9-year-old girl. I have an idea of where they could be if it's a new gym in Wichita, but I'm not going to say the gym because I don't want to connect an innocent gym to these men if they aren't associated with the men. Kevin Mazika, Texas, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Kevin was a former men's team coordinator for USAG from 2009 to 2016. In 2021, an 8-year-old gymnastics family reported her injury to SafeSport, stating that Kevin was responsible for her back injury. His lawyer claimed that although he was the owner, he was not in the gym nor responsible for the injury of reporting this to SafeSport, since it is not a requirement for SafeSport. He is the current and original owner of Houston Gymnastics Academy. Justin Miller Burned, Indiana, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Highly recognized trampoline coach by USAG. Over 21 years in the industry, he has been under investigation since 2020. Brandon Modesty, New Jersey, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. A young coach currently at Champions United Gymnastics Academy. Jeremy Nevers, Ohio, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Couldn't find any info on where he is or what gym he is at. Randall Owens, Michigan, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. If I have the correct person, they currently coach at For the Kids Gymnastics in Michigan. Not sure what he did. Website does not show he is currently employed there. Roy Peregrina, Louisiana, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Owner of Cedar Creek Gymnastics. I'm not sure if that gym still exists, though. Darren Piper, New Jersey, by USA Gymnastics Bylaw 10.5. Suspended from all contact. Not sure if it's the same person, but a Darren in New Jersey worked at Jungle Gym in Bounce. Listed as a coach, the website link doesn't work. Gym may possibly not exist anymore. This man was charged with child pornography and other crimes in 2020. Joseph Raymond, Texas, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. A former coach at Maximum Gymnastics at Woodlands. This gym has had sexual abuse in the mid-2000s and claims of Joseph now touching a male gymnast from 2021. He is under investigation by legal authorities. Sasha Rott, New Jersey, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. This person has a long resume, being a successful coach, gymnast, author, and stuntman. He should be working at Jonas Gymnastics Academy. Brianna Rhodes, Ohio, USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. A young coach could have come from Emeth Gymnastics, but social media shows they no longer work there. Does have a coaching social media account, wondering if it is related to emotional, physical abuse claims. Timothy Rogers, California, by U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Current Scats girls and boys team coach, as listed on the website. Has been with Scats for over 20 years. William Sherm, Florida, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Works or worked at South Florida Gymnastics. Not sure if he still works there. Website doesn't list current coaches. Peter Soul, California/Texas, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. According to LinkedIn, he works at Technique Kids Activity Center. Website does not list if he is still employed there. Could also be at Liberty Gymnastics Center. He's a concerning one, since it says he resides in Texas and California, so I have no idea where he is. Jennifer Jenna Golding, Illinois, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. Struggle to find a gym or info on her, probably because of the changes of her last name. Mike Spiller, Texas, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Has a website dedicated to athlete coaching and gymnastics. He has been around for decades, opening a gym in 1976 named Jim and I, where former coaches like Rick Newman and Jim Jarrett's and his wife coached at. These are 3 bad coaches that I've discussed on my channel before. Not sure if he is still coaching, but I guarantee he is somehow still a part of the Texas gymnastics community. Donald Spaulding, Illinois, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. Coaches at St. Louis Gym Center has been helping coach Connor McCool, a promising male gymnast. Risha Story, Kentucky, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. Current coach at Champion Gymnastics in Kentucky. Patricia Supfin, New Jersey, by USA Gymnastics Bylaw 10.5. No unsupervised contact with minors. Should be currently working at Indigo Gymnastics Center. Happy that the website provides a staff tab, but there was no staff to view, so they may be updating the website or the list. I've looked on 4 different websites for abbreviations, and I cannot figure out how to pronounce this last name. So I'm just going to say Mike Schwish, Illinois, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. No unsupervised contact with minors. May have been coaching at Buffalo Grove Gymnastics Center. If that's the case, not sure what he's doing now because the gym permanently closed in 2020. It doesn't sound like he was an owner or a businessman, so he may be coaching elsewhere. Not sure what he did though. Oleksandr Voroboyev, Illinois, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. Former Ukraine gymnast who excelled in the late 2000s. I'm not sure the last gym he was coaching at. Macy Watson, Virginia, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. She may be a business owner and working at G-Force Gymnastics. Not sure her status. The website doesn't provide coach description of who is currently employed there. Franklin Winstead, North Carolina, for the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. He is currently coaching Southeastern Gymnastics and is listed as a coach on its website. Parents spoke in June of 2022 with their frustrations that SafeSport is still allowing him, along with the gym, to coach while he is under investigation. They did not discuss what he is doing and why he is under investigation. Wilbur Philip Wertman, Florida, by USA Gymnastics. No unsupervised contact with minors. Should be associated with gymnastics, etc. Says he is either a director or the president of the gym. Not sure of his investigation status. Troy Wright, Alabama, by the U.S. Center for SafeSport. Suspended from all contact. may have recently coached at Pennsylvania Gymnastics Academy. If it's the same guy, he has traveled a lot, living in Oklahoma and Tennessee, though this says Alabama for USAG. Not sure of his whereabouts, I couldn't find much information on him.